going on, everybody? Shane here for Vulgar Display Gaming, and today I'm joined by special guests from Barbarous. Introduce yourselves and what you guys do, please.
I'm Travis and I play drums.
I'm Zach, play bass.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks, guys, for tuning in. And also, I want to say thank you. We got a show coming up with you guys, your first time out in LA. It's going to be for the charity event we're doing for Bleed for the Cause. It's going to be at Knucklehead on September 19th. So we hope everybody comes out for that, as well as it's going to be live streamed. So I'm going to live stream that one too. So you guys can all tune in and watch it.
Oh yeah.
So I want to know, can you walk us through like the earliest days of Barbarous? I know you guys started with Cody, who I met you guys through, and then Thomas, and now you guys were writing in 2024, and then you recruited, new members and everything. How has it been so far leading up to this album?
It's been pretty good. Like it kind of started because Tom and I are real good friends. And so Tom was like, "Oh, I kind of talking to this dude about this death metal project," and he showed me like a clip of a song. I was like, "I don't know what you need to do, but I want to be a part of that." And then sure enough, a couple days later, Cody texted me, and it was just the three of us at the time. And Travis and I were in a other band together, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I think you need to join this," because I was like, "It's definitely our style of music." And then yeah, it was pretty much everyone just agreed with it. And then we were on the search for a vocalist, and our vocalist Travis had never really done vocals. I'd been with him in previous projects. He plays guitar, and he's like, "Dude," I showed him some of the songs. He's like, "Ah, dude, I need to be a part of this project." And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna try vocals." And he like sent me this clip, and he's like, "Dude, if it sucks, just tell me." And he sent me this clip, and I was like, "Dude, for the first time ever doing vocals, that is pretty fucking sick." And like from that clip till today, it's like night and day. He's just gotten so much better.
Dude, that's fucking amazing. That is his first time singing?
Yeah,
Sounds
this is
great on this record.
yeah,
Yeah, he's done some like little backup stuff, kind of like just messing around and whatnot, but he's never actually been an active vocalist. So this is his first real attempt. And I mean, he's only been doing it for a year.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he when he's passionate about something, Travis will jump headlong into it and succeed at it.
yeah.
So once Travis came into the band, it wasn't long after actually Cody, stepped away, left his catalog to us, 6 songs off the record and everything, and was just like, hey, just run with it. I believe in you guys. I love you guys. Just run with this band and do what you want to do. That's when we started hunting for a lead guitarist. Had a couple names, that we were throwing out, but our current guitarist, Zach Weed, he plays in another band with Travis as well. So it's like this whole connected, family affair kind of thing. So once Zach came in, it was just like all those little puzzle pieces came back together and everything. And Zach ended up writing 2 songs off the record. So it's really, really fucking sick to see kind of how everything's in a short amount of time has come together.
Hell yeah, that's what it seems like. I keep saying it, but the metal community in general, whether it's bands or just fans, we're all so interconnected, and you wouldn't think about it. Be like, holy shit, you know this person, I know that person, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and that's how everybody like. There's been multiple bands where they're all just swapping members and changing out. So I'm glad it all worked out. Cody's a great dude. Like, I'm stoked for his new project that's going to be playing as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if I
Our
should talk about it though, but
our guitarist Tom actually plays bass in that band too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. So I'll wait. Maybe I'll do a thing with Cody later, and we'll talk about that. Moving on, I know you guys just recently did like another interview, and you guys were talking about some of your influences. You mentioned albums like Cannibal Corpse's Evisceration Plague, Black Dahlia's Nocturnal, and Necrot. Obviously, Necrot, hometown band up from that way as well. Can you talk about any specific riffs or drumming styles or anything like that that else has really influenced you on this album?
I know for me, it's all been Alex Webster. The
Hell
I
yeah.
I laid eyes on him when I was like 13 years old, and ever since then, I've always like wanted to kind of achieve his style. Still haven't done it, but I'm always thriving to make myself better and seeing the riffs that he plays, and like it just I've seen them live so many times, and just still at the age he is now, I'm just like, this dude just fucking rips all the time. And yeah, it's just that he just really accents his notes and he makes the bass present, and that's what I really enjoy about him.
Hell yeah. Do you have a poster of him up in your room that you look at every day?
No, I do have a magazine though.
Is it sticky?
Not yet.
There you go. There you go. What about when it comes to like drumming style and everything?
So, as I've mentioned before, Shannon Lucas has always been a big influence, dating back from the time he was with All That Remains, going into the Black Dahlia murder. And, he got to do some stuff with like Battle Cross, I think. And then he's, what was, Serpentine Dominion with, Corpse Grinder.
Oh yeah, that's a
And
great super group album.
yeah, yeah. So, I've always followed Shannon Lucas, but then, there's guys like Adam Jarvis, Misery Index, and Chris Adler, some of those guys that, I listened to early on through like high school and whatnot that have definitely shaped kind of how I drum and everything.
Hell yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I want to how do you pronounce this album? Initium Mors? I'm
Initium Morse.
there you go. And as we're recording this, everybody, the album just dropped today. I've been listening to the album nonstop. It's absolutely killer. And your guys' name, goes along with this barbaric metal, what you're trying to accomplish. And I just want to say, like, when you guys were recording this album, I know you did kind of like a hybrid kind of model where you went to a studio and then you did some things there, and then you worked with not only at Rapture Recordings, and then you did some recording at home, as well as then you sent it all to an engineer. How has that process been? Was it chaotic, or you guys kind of had it structured?
Rapture Recordings is a place that I've also worked at myself as an assistant engineer. So it's also where we practice.
Oh,
It's a
that's
whole
gonna be
whole studio and everything. So going into the recording process, like we're already home. You know what I mean? So like
oh
we
yeah.
laid down drums pretty effortlessly. I want to say in what 2 weekends time we had drums
Damn.
recorded for all 8 songs. We had some time left over. Zach came in and laid bass down because Zach Weed uh, recorded all the guitars in his home, right there in his living room. Just hooked up his DAW and his interface and went to town. Knocked out all the leads, all the rhythms, and everything. Sent it off to us. We got everything, mixed down the best we could. Bass got laid down, and then we weren't too sure exactly how we wanted to go about vocals. Travis has worked with a buddy of ours, Matt Kilner, formerly of Vitriol.
Hell yeah.
He was, he does some recording and stuff himself, and Travis actually recorded with Matt for the demo. Did vocals and stuff with him. So we were kind of gearing towards that line, and me and Travis basically talk almost every day about band stuff and kind of like the business model of things. And we're like, hey, just try Cody. I know you have your comfort zones, but let's try Cody with Rapture. Let's see what he can do for you and how you can accomplish your vision. And Travis went in little nervous, and by the end of it, Travis was like, no, there's no one else I'm going to record vocals with. He gets it. He understands how I want to structure things, how I want the lyrics to be laid out, and rhythmically how everything to go. So, yeah, I mean, we did go in with a general idea of kind of how we wanted to lay everything out and go about recording, and it was pretty seamless. I don't think there was really any hiccups.
No, not really. I mean, Cody and I came in and I think we tracked all the bass in one day. Um, and it was just Cody just really helping me out with anything and everything that he could. And we've both worked with Cody on previous projects, and he's he's just I don't want to work with anyone else but Cody.
Hell yeah. It's always great when you have somebody who actually gets your sound. It makes it that much easier to work with. You're not going to have somebody trying to mold you guys. You're like, no, we would like to do this. He's like, all right, cool. And pushes you in that direction and keeps you on track. So that's fucking awesome, guys. Um, Now, again, the album title that I could barely pronounce translates to "Death is the Beginning." How does that represent to you guys personally, and how did you guys go about choosing that title?
I didn't choose the title.
I know. I mean, you
Uh,
guys had to have some kind of conversation about it, right?
so again, it's going to sound kind of ridiculous, but like me and Travis talk all the time, and it's always about something with this band and just ideas, and we're constantly spitballing. So he was kind of coming up with the title of Initium Mors and dug into the translation, and Travis was talking about Initium Mors, and the definition of, or the translation is death is the beginning, and he kind of tied it into, and this is kind of the way that I feel as well, is that um, it's something new coming from older things that we've tried and tried to succeed with and have maybe failed or had issues with, right? So for us, me and Zach, the previous band that we were in, we left not really on the best terms. Um, you know how creative differences can be, how different mentalities kind of play into things. So we kind of just ended up quitting almost on the same day. And, we were already in Barbarous and everything. So it's like that kind of ties into the title as well. The death of something brings the beginning of life into something else, right? Travis has that same kind of mentality when it comes to, he was a guitarist and he plays bass in another couple bands and everything. And then he wanted to try something completely new. He wanted to try vocals out. So like there's this whole like dichotomy of personal experiences, professional experiences that are all tying into the title of this record.
Hell yeah. Now, do you guys think it's a standard for a death metal band nowadays to have at least one Latin titled album?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's either going to be a Latin titled album or just something completely like guttural slam, like grotesque. It's
Feasting
got
on the nun's entrails or something,
Yeah.
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go. I just somebody could take that one. I don't know if that's you could probably Google that. And that's probably an album already, you know. But I know like with songs like Tools of the Trade, it's about like an evil executioner and like Letter Steel, it's about a sniper. That's kind of cool, you know. I'm trying to look at all this cinematic kind of stuff. Do you guys have any input on lyrics or you guys just let Travis do his thing or do you guys all kind of discuss about it and talk about it?
I have definitely pitched some ideas to Travis. I'm no way, shape, or form a lyricist, but I do have kind of different ideas that I can throw into the pot. So, like the song title and kind of theme of the song Conscious Decomposition, I gave him that title and the rough idea of the song, it being about there's actually the story, the quick 30-second, cliff notes is that there was a guy in Japan who was working on a nuclear reactor. He got blasted with like 20 times the lethal amount of radiation, and he ended up being kept alive
So
for
he's a
like
superhero.
for 80 something
A
days.
kaiju.
But he was kept alive for like 80 something days. Blood transfusion, skin grafts, everything after he's been completely irradiated. Everything's turning to mush and goo and everything. And I told Travis the story, and I was like, the guy was basically consciously decomposing, and he was like, "That's a sick song title." I was like, "Conscious decomposition," and he was
Yeah.
like, and he kind of just roughly took the story about that one guy in Japan and made it into the song very loosely, but yeah. So that's pretty much all I've kind of helped with lyrically or song title wise. Travis has done, I would say, 98% of everything. Cody Jones wrote a good portion of our song, The Tomb Spawn. Lyrically and everything, and worked with Travis, and that was what was on featured on our demo as well. So yeah, it's kind of like a Travis show minus a few people giving some input here and there.
That,
And
that's fucking
I,
cool.
I do believe Tom dealt with anointing of the sick because he had that whole idea.
Oh yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if he did the lyrics, but I know he had the idea of it.
Yeah. So anointing the sick, totally forgot about that. Good call. Was Tom's idea, at least song title wise. I'm not quite sure if it was a lyrical idea either, but either way, Tom had his hand in that, and we started looking at, our track listing and everything. And there's a lot of songs, and I think bands get into this like kind of mentality of like something of the, and then something of the, or something the of, like. So I was looking at, how we were laying everything out, and I was like, we have a lot of songs are of the. And Travis was like, yeah. I was like, so let's just change it to anointing the sick. And that's ultimately what stuck. And Tom's like, well, whatever. So it
Hey,
worked
I
out.
mean, like you're saying, you guys have all been in bands together. You all know about each other and everything. So I'm pretty sure it's a fairly easy process when it comes to, voicing concerns or talking about how you work together. Like the writing process, pretty smooth then, right? Because you all are familiar with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we all had ties. I've been in previous projects with both Travis's. Um, Travis and Zach have been in a project together. And we just have, we're also all been friends before we were in a band together. So coming together, it was just kind of like everyone was on the same page. Everyone knew what they wanted in a band. Everyone had had past bands that just didn't work out or broke up, or and we knew we had all had a common goal, and I think that's really what made everything so easy. And even to this day, it doesn't feel like a job. It just feels like you're going to go hang out with your buddies and play some sick music.
Fuck yeah, that's always the best part, right? You guys are just fucking doing what you love. How important is it for a band, like especially like a death metal band, to have some kind of symbolism, some kind of image on stage? I know you guys have like chains and stuff, and you got like a sword mic stand I've seen some pictures of, or stuff like that.
Mhm.
Are you guys gonna slowly evolve your image to your music, or are you guys gonna keep it kind of minimal, or how are you guys gonna go about your stage presence?
That's pretty much how it was from the start. It was like uh, four-sided death metal long sleeve and black pants, and it's kind of just been that from the get-go. And then yeah, we've added like I think the chains and the sword were actually added for our when we did our music video Tools of the Trade. The sword was made
Yeah, that's
for
sweet.
that video, and it's actually the same sword that the guy was using in the music video.
Yeah,
Um, and so yeah, since that date, Travis has been using that on stage. We added the chains, and I'm sure there will be little here, little there. We added covers to our cabs that just make the live music presence just stand out that much more. And I feel this is our first record, but I feel very professional in this band.
I, I will reiterate, like, for this being your first record, and my next question goes into you guys have built up so much momentum by treating this as it's like your eighth record almost. You know what I'm saying? You guys have all been other bands, and you're like, you know what, we're gonna do this one right. We're gonna take our time, record it, we're gonna get our imagery down, we're gonna get, like you said, our stage presence down. You guys did some killer music videos. You have four music videos out right now?
Just three.
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 Yeah.
Three
Yeah.
music videos. I'll have those all linked down below. But even your website, I was like, this is like a band that's like been around a long time. It's like, nope, first record coming out. You guys are so far ahead of the curve when it comes to other bands starting out. I think it's safe to say, did you guys all plan this out? Did you guys really go in depth of how you wanted to start this band?
Yeah. I mean, I think from the get-go, I mean, when I was brought in, when Zach, brought me in with Cody and Tom and everything, we were kind of just jamming, just having fun with it. And it wasn't until Travis came in, and Travis has always been that like heavy voice of like, this is what we're gonna do. We're if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. We're gonna do it big, right? So like as soon as Travis came in, was like that focal point of like, he's like, we're gonna get this band signed, we're going to do this record, we're going to tour, we're going to play shows, we're going to do it all, right? And I think everyone signed on pretty much instantaneously. And it's just the way that we've treated it. Like me and Travis, again, just behind the scenes, are trying to always find different ways to push this band to new heights. Because we've all been in bands that have not gone to where we wanted them to go, right? So using those things as catalysts and kind of like a stepping point of like these are the things that didn't work. We know now the things that do work, and we're going to implement them. I mean, the whole rollout was Travis and Tom's idea of like as soon as we started the band, like we did an immediate reel, it got traction. We did a second reel, it got traction, and then we announced, the demo. It's just like this progressive growth that I don't think any of us really understood or thought was going to be possible right out the get go, but it's actually very shocking. This is probably the fourth or fifth interview I've done total in my life with any musical project. So like it's all new territory, and I'm glad that the five of us are all being able to do it together because, like Zach said, we're all friends, and being able to do this with friends and grow a brand and a band to whatever level it becomes is much better when it's with friends.
What you said was something very important. You've all took this to a very professional approach. How do you feel for like advice with a new band that can see your guys' trajectory and everything? When was it time to step away from these bands when, like, say they were breaking up or other members weren't taking it seriously? And now it seems like you all have come together and you're like, yeah, this is what we want to do. How important is that to get all on the same page when it comes to being in a band?
Clear example I can use is when we came into Barbarous, we started playing the music, and I was like, I actually really like playing this music. Where in the other band we were in beforehand, I was like, it felt like I gotta pull out the bass today and practice the songs, and it felt like more like a chore.
Mm,
And this is just natural. I wanna play these songs. I wanna get better, and it's just there's a whole different attitude when everyone's can get on the same page when you're just having fun, you know, and it is a business in the long run, but it doesn't feel like one to us. Like it's just us with our buddies making good music, meeting cool people, and the reaction we've had is like way exceeded what we thought. Like, I mean, we expected to get some kind of reaction because we know the songs are good, but the like just the amount like our social media has grown and all that before the first record is just kind of like mind blowing, and like seeing our like streaming numbers, and I'm like, wow, people are actually listening to this. I think we had just on Spotify alone had over 20,000 streams before the album dropped, just between the two singles.
that's killer,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah,
for a band this is their first album,
yeah,
you know.
it's been such a fun experience, and um, I've seen bands, that are fairly new, especially newer death metal bands that, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I like this band, and then all of a sudden they're like headlining a tour, and you're like, it only took one or two albums for them to go from that band, and it's because of that kind of professional approach.
Yeah, when it comes to just even DIY stuff, it seems like you guys had to do a lot of this stuff yourself, especially with social media. How important, I always gotta ask bands this because I want to reiterate because I've seen too many bands where they don't focus on this. How important is documenting when it comes to recording, documenting behind the scenes stuff, getting good reels, getting good social media content?
So I just talked to a couple people about this. It's a crazy time being a band in 2025, right? Because not only do you have to write songs that are going to catch people's attention, not only do you have to push it out like you normally would in the music industry, right? But now you also have to make the catchy merch for people to latch on to. It can't be just logo, whatever, which I mean, it seems to be working for us, not being pretentious or anything, but just saying like, the traditional death metal approach to merch is working for us. But you also have to make it catchy, right? You have to make it appealing to the eye for someone to want to buy. It's not just a logo shirt. It's not just your album art. You kind of got to come up with these creative ways to sell merch. But also now there's a third element to being a musician, and you have to be a content creator online, right? It is 30-second attention spans of people nowadays. If you're not making something that's going to catch someone's attention in the first 7 seconds, the video's dead. And then you get no traction on it, which means that you're not going to be able to push your music out. It's such a double-edged sword with things because if you don't have the catchy content, but you have the catchy song, you have the catchy album, whatever, like it'll get lost in the sauce, you know what I mean? So we are constantly documenting things. We're constantly coming up with ideas for like show announcements because everybody shares a flyer. How can you make it fun? How can you make it interactive and catch people's attention within that first 10 seconds of a video, right? And then, the big thing is always having some level of content, whether it's photos and reels or just videos. Like we're documenting basically everything we've done from the beginning. Maybe one day we'll put out like a documentary DVD or something,
Yeah, that'd be sick.
but like you got to have something always in the pipeline, something always to push because we're living in a video age now like we never have. And like I said, people's attention spans just aren't there anymore. And it's a wild ride to try to be on.
Now, do you guys take turns rotating out the social media, or do you have one person that takes control of it all, or?
I would say that like for the most part, it's Travis and me handling the social end of things. Zach is also behind the scenes, kind of watching analytics and kind of saying what's performing well, what can we do better and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean it's mostly just Travis and I kind of running the social end of things. There's so much stuff out there right now that it's like have to reshare this, have to reshare that, to keep everything that we've done so far relevant in people's eyes and everything. So it's that in itself is a full-time job.
Oh, trust me, I hate it. No, but let's wrap all of this up with you guys wrote so much material. You even said you got material for a second album already. Like, how long are you gonna let this one breathe before you guys start, going into for a second album?
So we don't actually have like a full second record, planned out.
Some material, yeah.
There's some material already being worked on. We are sitting on one other song that did not make the record that we could always release as a single, maybe. Wink,
Ooh, a
wink.
7-inch or a split would be cool with somebody.
And there's been talks of that down the line and everything, but we're looking probably normal album cycle, probably 2 years, pumping out another record because this being our debut record and the powerhouse that we feel it is, we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to hear it before we try to pump something else out. We want to tour on it, talks about maybe getting out into Europe. There's talks about going out, maybe out towards Japan. Um, Definitely touring the States, maybe up towards Canada. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. But that's the ultimate goal. We got to get this album out and worry about that, and then everything else down the line will happen.
Hell yeah. Now, when it came to your album art, I know you guys worked with Dan Seagrave, and he's a great cover artist. Like, did you guys all have input on pitching that album art? Because, I'll have it popping up right here, but that album art's killer, and I like all of his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of had some varying like input about what we were envisioning with the album art, but it was actually Tom that came up with the center tower. It's the Tower of Silence. In ancient Babylonian times, Persian times, it
Persian
was a
burial tower.
yeah, it was a Persian burial tower that wouldn't cause contamination of the holy grounds around it. So like he had this idea, and Travis went to Dan and was like, "Hey, this is our idea." Dan came out like within a few days with like 6 or 7 sketches. And was like, "What do you think?" And we're like, "Let's go with this one." And revisions here and there, whatnot. But like we we definitely have this kind of policy that let the artist do the art. You know, whether it's tattoos, whether it's mixing a record, whether it's getting album work done or whatever. Like let the artist take control because the artist has the vision far better than what we could probably come up with. Now, if we had a little
Exactly.
little tweaks here and there, yeah, we had those, but I mean, when we got the first draft of this album art, I think we were all like, what does he have to improve upon? It's freaking Dan Seagrave.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm not done.
Oh
And
shit.
the end result, I mean, blew us away. So I mean, 10 out of 10, when you set a standard of like, this is your first record, this is the artist that you're choosing, and this is the style of how you're kind of doing things, like you can't ever deviate that from it, like from that ever again. Like,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
guys set a standard. You're coming out strong. Like this whole record is very polished. The album art, the presentation of it, the packaging of it is killer. I can't wait to get this on vinyl. I'm pretty sure hopefully you guys are going to get some records pressed and everything, right?
yeah, so the records are actually records and CDs, and the shirt that Ben from Creator Destructors putting out will be out in a few weeks' time.
Hell yeah. So I'll put that link. You guys gonna put it up on your Bandcamp or where can we get all of that?
Yeah, so through creatordestructor.com, you go to artists and find Barbarous. All of the pre-orders and stuff is up there. And then also through our Bandcamp, bandcamp.com/Barbarous, or however Bandcamp links their stuff. So everything is up there and ready to be purchased.
Guys, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me and talking this new album. Say the album, please.
Initium
Like
Mors.
Initium Mors. I cannot pronounce that. I don't know why. But this new album is absolutely killer. This feels like it's your third or fourth or eighth. It's that solid. So I recommend everybody picking that out. It's out now. You can all listen to it. You guys have some shows coming up. When are those at?
So on August 22nd, we have a show in San Jose with Darkness Everywhere. And then the very next day, we're playing again with Darkness Everywhere and Doomsday in Santa Rosa at the St.
The Arlene Francis Center.
Arlene Francis
Oh
Center.
yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
little run. And then
Yeah.
I'm considering or I'm guessing the show on the 19th down here in LA will be your third show then, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We have that show and we're stoked to get down to LA. Personally, I haven't played in LA since like 2022. So
Yeah, it's been about that time for
yeah.
me as well.
So it's going to be fun getting down there. And we're really stoked for the show.
Yeah, well, again, I want to thank you guys for joining me for this. I want to thank you guys for doing the show that I'm putting on. Again, it's the Bleed for the Cause charity event pre-show, which was also be going for charity too. So come on down, see Barbarous, and it's going to be a killer time. Thank you so much, guys. Again, new album's out now.
Yeah, thank you.